Hi, hi everyone. My name is James. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, nice, nice. Today's talk is all in English, so apologies for my British accent. I know a lot of you are used to American accent. It's fine. You'll get used to it, hopefully. Okay, so the big question we're answering today is, can a deaf person learn Chinese? So I was born deaf. You can see I wear two hearing aids. And the answer is yes. Thank you for coming. See you next week. Bye-bye. No, I'm joking, I'm joking, I'm joking. I'm joking. Right. So the answer is yes, of course. I can speak Chinese, I'm deaf. But you want to know more, right? You want to know more. So today we're going to talk about three things. Number one, what's my background? Why am I deaf? Number two, what is my Chinese journey? And number three, what advice or tips do I have for language learning? So if you stick around to the end, you're going to get the best part, I promise. All right, cool. This is me. 19, so I wrote that wrong. I'm not that young. 1988. I'm 36 years old. I wish I was 26. I was born 11 weeks premature. Okay, almost 3 months premature. I weighed 1.5 kilograms, or just over 3 pounds for my American friends. Okay, tiny, tiny baby. I was on intensive care for over 2 weeks. My parents were very worried. I had a 50-50 chance of living. Spoilers, I'm alive. Okay, and I made it. You know, very happy child, very lovable, um, gorgeous, handsome, cute, you know, everything, right? But there was a problem. When you go behind me and click my fingers or clap, I would not turn around. I had a hearing problem, okay? And so they did an audio test. Does anyone understand this? I know these two do. Somewhat, a little bit. Okay. Some people saying no, that's fine. I don't expect you to. It's not a test. All right. Most of you guys here, your hearing is up here between 0 and 20. When you go past this line, that's when you're considered deaf, right? To various levels. When you go below this line, you have zero hearing. All right. So this is the low frequencies, like a car or deep noises like this, right? And these are your high frequencies like whistles and high pitched noises. I'm not going to do the high pitched noise. Okay. And so you can see my hearing in my right ear, my hearing in my left ear. It's pretty bad. They call it severe hearing loss or profound hearing loss. Okay. And my parents were like, well, what are we going to do? You know, we want our son to be able to speak and not live in this deaf world, in this deaf culture. We want to give him the best possible chance he can have. And luckily, they found this charity called Delta, right? And their words are, we know that most deaf children can learn to listen and talk. We believe parents of all deaf children should be given this option. And they saw a deaf woman get on stage like I am right now and speak to the crowd. And they were like, oh my gosh, it's possible. Okay, my son is deaf, but maybe there's a chance he could speak. All right. And my mom, I don't know if this is going to load. My mom, incredible woman, sent me to speech therapy, spend time talking to me. Do you know, in the guidelines, they say you should speak to your child 20 minutes every day to improve his hearing. And my mom was like, shouldn't everyone speak to their child for 20 minutes a day? Isn't that normal? Okay, so she went, you know, above and beyond. Speech therapy, hearing aids, this, that, trying to give me the best opportunity I could at life. And lo and behold, I eventually was able to speak English. Pretty good. I'm not too bad, right, guys? I was okay. It's okay. It's passable. I'm British, but it's passable. Here's a big question, though. My dad is from Hong Kong, and yet I grew up monolingual. I only speak one language. Why? Because my parents didn't even think I would be able to speak English, let alone Cantonese as well. So they focus only on English, and my dad has excellent English. My dad sounds way more British than me by now. I've been here too long. Okay, I'm saying like garbage truck and stuff. It's bin. Okay, and so I grew up mainstreaming. I went to a normal school, normal, right? Not that deaf is unnormal. I didn't get involved in the deaf culture. I wasn't involved with like other deaf children. I just had hearing friends, hearing school, hearing everything, right? So I don't sign, actually. I know zero sign language. I'm very good at lip reading though. And so I grew up a normal child. I ended up working for a small company you might have heard of called Rolls-Royce. Some people know. Very fortunate, an opportunity I wouldn't have had if I was deaf, okay? Probably not. But after 7 years of working in Rolls-Royce and really thinking about my culture, my heritage, I thought, I want to learn Chinese, okay? My dad speaks Cantonese. He's from Hong Kong. What is this whole world I don't know about? And so I quit my job as an aerospace engineer. And 2015, I got the date right this time. 2015, I took a plane and I flew to Taiwan. All right, so year one, I come to Taiwan. Of course, I'm an English teacher. Sorry, we do it. It happens. I was an English teacher and I was like, I'm going to spend a year in Taiwan and I'm going to be fluent. You know, it doesn't matter that I'm speaking English all day and that all of my friends are English speakers, you know, clearly white people speaking English. I'm going to be fluent in Mandarin. And of course, after 1 year, 你好，我要这个，谢谢. That's it. That's all I could speak after 1 year. Okay. And so, you know what? I thought, I can't be doing this. I need to study hard. I thought it was going to be easy. Put your hands up if you thought language learning was going to be easy. Yeah, we all did, right? How naive of us. What the heck were we thinking? All right. And so I enrolled in Shida, which is a local language school, NTNU, and I studied Chinese full time. I think it was 3 or 5 hours a day. I don't remember now. It was a long time ago. And I studied hardcore, and I loved it. I was better than my classmates because I'd already practiced for a year. I knew what tones was. I knew how to read pinyin, etc., right? So the first 3 months, smashed it. Absolutely incredible. Great people, went out with them. I just loved being able to speak Chinese. But then it got to the second semester and suddenly I wasn't ahead anymore. Suddenly the Chinese teacher only spoke Chinese, surprise, right? But I was like, oh my gosh, I need English, help me. Suddenly my classmates were scoring ahead, especially the Japanese speakers. Any Japanese people here? You guys are incredible at writing. It's cheating, basically. You shouldn't be in the same class as me. All right? But there you were, getting 100% on your Tingxie, and I was struggling. I was so far behind. I would go home and cry at my homework because I was like, this is so hard. I don't get it. I'm struggling in class. I can't understand what you're saying. I don't know how to speak these words. I don't know how to write these words. I struggled a lot. So for the next 3 to 5 years, 3, 4, and 5, I made language learning fun. Okay? If I wanted to read a book, I would read a book. If I wanted to do language exchange, I'd do a language exchange. I spent a month just doing a language exchange every single day because that was fun at the time. I listened to music. I wrote down all the lyrics. I tried to work out what was Jay Chow trying to tell me. Okay? Very profound guy. And, you know, I spent the next 3 years just having fun with language learning. I think truly that's the most important thing. So yes, the school gave me the basis, but I wouldn't have stuck with it if it was all about that. So that's basically my language learning journey in a very quick, short time. After I finished language learning, I was like, I want to become a YouTuber, and I became like a pretty good YouTuber. That's basically my job right now. I'm a social media expert, so if you guys need help in social media, hit me up. Not a plug, but kind of is. You can check out my videos there. There was this video here is basically a longer version of what I'm telling you today. But basically, yeah, what advice do I have for you guys? Okay. So I have 3 pieces of advice when language learning. Number 1, you need to have goals and you need to have a North Star. What's a North Star? Something you follow. Something that no matter how hard life gets, you see your star and it's like, this is why I'm doing this. Okay? And for me, one of the reasons was I asked my teacher on day 1, what book do I need to finish to be good at Chinese? And she said, well, it's a hard question, but probably book 4. Okay? So after 5 years, I finished book 4 and I threw that book down. I was like, I've done it. I've hit my goal. I'm happy with where I am now, okay? Every blood, sweat, tear is because of this book, all right? And there were times I wanted to give up, but I knew I had to finish this book. So by having this goal, it has to be a very tangible goal. Right? A lot of people learning languages, they say, oh, I want to be able to speak to my wife's family. I want to do business in Chinese. Okay, what kind of goal is that? I can't measure it, right? It's very important to be able to measure it. And for me, finishing a book is very clear cut, right? Have a measurable goal. I also had a second goal, which was to get onto TV speaking Chinese. I thought if I can speak Chinese on TV, that means I've reached a certain level, right? And no one will take me, and that's why I started my YouTube channel, because I put myself on TV. And eventually, of course, the TV channels reached out to me. This is a TV show called 请问你是哪里人? Okay. So again, another goal. Make sure you're always out there trying to hit something. That's really, really important. All right, number 2. The best way isn't always the best way. The opposite of a good idea can also be a good idea. Sounds confusing, let me explain. Here's some just random things, okay? I believe when you study, you should study at 99% comprehension. I think you should understand almost everything you're reading or listening to or whatever, right? You shouldn't spend your time looking up every other word, this grammar pattern or this and that. And that's tough because our textbooks are throwing 20 new words at us every chapter. They're throwing 5 new grammar patterns at us every chapter. And the teacher's like, yeah, learn it and you'll be able to speak it, right? It's not true. And it's so unfun. I had the most fun learning Chinese when I'm reading these like basic like storybooks about Sherlock Holmes in Chinese, okay? So much fun. I'm looking up a few words every so often. You enjoy the process. If writing is fun, do it. How many times do you hear that writing is pointless in Chinese? But if you enjoy it, why not? It's a form of learning, right? Everything in life is pointless. You guys watch TV. You guys learn languages for heck's sake. It's pointless. It doesn't matter. Just do what is fun. You don't need maximum efficiency. Everyone's saying, oh, how long can I learn Chinese in 1 year? What's the best way to become fluent in blah, blah, blah? It's not a race. It's a marathon, okay? It's longer than a marathon. It takes a long time to do this stuff, all right? And everyone's saying, oh, you need to switch off your English brain. You need to switch off your mother tongue. I think this is sometimes, yes, applicable, but sometimes it's good to use your native tongue. Okay, here's an example. Does anyone know what syllable stress is in English? Some people, yes, some people know. Are you a native speaker?
Yes.
Can you come here for a sec? I need you as a volunteer in a second, but come here, right. So in English, we have some kind of syllable stress, like product, production, technology, technique. You can see my voice emphasizes the up part, right? And I thought to myself, wait a sec, this is kind of like tones in Chinese. Because if I mess this up, people can't understand me. Just like tones in Chinese, right? I'm going to get you to read something in a second. Okay? For example, I can say, she gave me a present, right? For the same word with a different syllable stress, we were nervous to present. Present, present. Same word, different stress, different meaning. Just like tones in Chinese. And when that clicked for me, I was like, oh, so maybe tones aren't as foreign as I thought, right? Because if I say she gave me a present, you're like, what the heck? What's that? Or we were nervous to present. What does that mean? Okay? And the same thing happens. So I'm going to get you to read something in a second. Can you just read out this sentence for me right here?
Okay. And should I read it naturally or?
Yeah, just read it naturally with the emphasis in the right place.
Okay. Knowledge of climate change does not require exceptional knowledge of geography.
Sounds perfect, right? Sounds great. Okay, but you're going to read this one more time, right? You're going to do a harder one. Now, I've moved the emphasis onto the wrong part. Read it out. It's hard. Read it out, and it's going to sound messed up.
Best. Okay. Knowledge of climate change does not require exceptional knowledge of geography.
Thank you. That was awesome. I love that. Thank you. Anyone here, I know there's not many people learning Chinese here. Anyone here says, oh, tones don't matter. If I just speak fast, they can't do the tones anyway. They can't hear my tones. Right? This is what you sound like when you mess up your tones, okay? It's very uncomfortable to listen to. I see people laughing. Yeah? Get your tones right, please. For the sake of these guys, okay? They don't want their ears bleeding. All right, so hopefully that drilled in a point. And I made a whole video about this, why your Chinese tones suck. Very important, right? And this video still gets views 5 years later. It's a terrible video. The audio is awful, but 48,000 people resonated with what I said. I broke the rule, English mattered here, and people resonated. Okay, don't listen to everything people tell you. All right, the final thing is don't compare yourselves to others, and tiny writing here, lean into your strengths. What's important? Going back to here, I sucked in class, okay? I was doing the exams, I was bottom of the class. I will get 40%. in my exams. I struggled in class. You guys know that. But then we went out for dinner one day after class, and we all sat down, and I grabbed the menu. I was like, 先生, and then I was just like ordering everything I wanted, asked the question, 这是什么？这很辣吗? Like I asked all the questions, asked him about this, asked him about that, ordered the food, sent him away. Well, not, told him, go, okay, well. And my classmates looked at me and were like, how did you do that? I said, well, what do you mean? I just ordered my food. They're like, but we can't do that. Like, you're so confident to talk to the guy and order your food. And I was like, this is why I'm learning the language. And these were guys who were getting 98, 99, 100% in their test. And they couldn't use the language for what it was. And I was comparing myself to them. I was like, oh, I'm so bad at compared to these guys. And yet I went out and did everything that impressed everyone. Okay. And so it's a really dangerous trap to compare yourselves, especially on social media right now. You go on social media and everyone's a polyglot and speaks this language. And you watch Matt versus Japan. You're like, wow, I want to be like that guy, right? Okay, you have your own strengths. You have your own reasons for learning. It doesn't have to be the same as everyone else. Try not to get yourself down. And another thing is just a mindset switch, a perception switch, okay? How much better is your German or your French or your English or your Chinese compared to everyone else in the world has tried? My Chinese is about B2 level, which is intermediate. And that puts me at the top 10% of people who have ever tried to speak Chinese, okay? Now, of course, you're comparing yourself to the people who are really good. And you're like, oh, I wish I could be as good as them. But how about you compare yourself to the people who have tried and failed, who gave up, who, like myself, did not have a hearing loss and didn't continue studying, okay? Compare yourself to them. Know that you are still trying. You are still continuing. Language is freaking hard. But we're still here. We're gathering at events like this. And we're trying our best, and we're doing it, right, guys? Yes, amazing, amazing. So my final word to you guys is, and I hope that you can take this away, you can do it despite your challenges. One of the comments in my YouTube video is, oh my God, this guy's deaf and he can speak Chinese. I should just give up right now. And no, that's the wrong mindset. The mindset is this guy is deaf and yet he still learned. So why can't you do it? You guys might be saying, oh, I have this problem. But you can still do it, okay? There are people out there with way worse situations, disabilities, whatever, compared to you, and they are doing it. So why can't you do it? Thank you so much for trusting me with your time. Really, really appreciate it. If you want to follow me, change one live or platforms. I guess we have time for questions, but if you guys want to go eat, that's absolutely fine as well. Thank you, guys.